Join us as we turn this into this, our DIY stained glass lantern. Social Crafts peeps, what's up? Thanks for joining us. So happy you're here. We are gonna make this DIY stained glass lantern. You can make all the sides the same, you can make all the sides different. It's up to you. You can decide on the design and create this magical lantern. So we are going to run through what you got in the box. If you did not get a craft box and you're watching this, you can go to socialcrafts.com, and there are these boxes we put together for you so you can get sent the whole craft and just do it. You can also go to tutorials and DIY on socialcrafts.com and see the full list of supplies that you do need for this. In case you have some of the things, you don't need the full box, and you can go ahead and go there and see the list, click on the links, and buy them right then and there. But if you did get the box, awesome. We're gonna run through exactly what you got and just make sure you have all this stuff. We have a few optional items that you don't totally need, but we'll go over those as well. So each person should have 4 wooden frames here, a glue gun. I did include some extra glue sticks. There's a couple of glue sticks in here, but I did include some extra glue sticks for you. So you should have a glue gun and a bottle of Mod Podge, bottle of white paint, a sponge brush, paper plate, all this was included, a piece of tissue paper, and a battery operated tea light. You can probably use a regular tea light, but I like to use battery operated, and they last longer, and yeah, they less waste, you know. But yeah, this is included, and this makes your lantern glow, and it's beautiful. And then optional items. Oh, you also did get a written out tutorial in there. You can follow along on this video. You can follow along by the paper tutorial. It's really what you choose, how you learn the best. It's all there for you. And optional items, oh, not optional, but items that weren't included in the box are a pair of scissors and something to put your Mod Podge in. It's not totally necessary. You could use the Mod Podge straight from the bottle. Although I like to put it in here. Sometimes if it needs watering down, I put a little water and mix it up. It just makes it easier to work with. And other optional items are a little mini screwdriver. What I didn't do, and I wish I did because it's now hard to get in here, is to take off these little black pieces inside of your frame before you glue it all together. So that would be with a mini screwdriver. You can take those off. You can kind of, it's optional, you don't have to, but you can see the black pieces through the glass on your finished product. So sometimes I think it looks a little cleaner without it. So grab a mini screwdriver if you're able. And then also a very necessary thing is to cover your workspace. Newspaper, a piece of paper. We're going to be working with, white paint. We're going to be working with Mod Podge. So if you do care about your surface that we're going to be working on, go ahead and cover it up. If it's a workbench and it's for crafts anyways, then obviously you don't have to do that. So those are the things that you got in your craft box. Like I said, if you didn't get a box, go ahead and go over to socialcrafts.com and you can buy one. And you can buy 1, you can buy 10, do it with your friends, have a wine and craft night. That's our specialty. And so, yeah, so that's what we have going on, and I think it's time to get started. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the 4 frames. You're going to move the black tabs so they're flush with the frame, so you can take out the glass and the frame stand. You can go ahead and trash the frame stand and keep the glass to the side. So separate those and do that with all 4. Next, go ahead and cover your surface because this is when we're going to be painting. And you'll squirt a little bit of the white paint onto the paper plate. Use the sponge brush and get all the sides of the frame. I didn't end up doing the back side. I kind of wish I did. But if you don't want to do the back side, that's fine as well. So go ahead and make sure you cover all the faces of the frames and the sides of the frames, and you can even do a second coat if you want, and then you're going to let it dry. And while you're letting it dry, go ahead and wash all the glass pieces. Be careful, they have raw edges, but go ahead and wash off all the glass pieces and let them dry. You can wipe them off with a paper towel. Just make sure there's no lint on them when you get started with the next part.
Next, we're going to go ahead and cut out some of our pieces that we want our designs to be. So I'm cutting out a bunch of different size triangles. I'm then put a little bit of Mod Podge in a container. You can use it straight from the bottle if you want, but I put it in a container and I used the same sponge brush that you did for the paint, but I washed it off, and then I brushed some of the Mod Podge onto the glass here and slowly started putting on the triangle pieces in a burst kind of design. When I overlapped some of the pieces, I added more Mod Podge on top. As you can see, I'm adding Mod Podge as I go, and then I add more triangles. And I just did it on the side. I wanted a really cool burst design coming from the side, and then at the end I covered the rest of it with another layer of Mod Podge. This next design that I'm going to do, I'm just taking a few different size strips of the tissue paper, and you can see here I'm narrowing it down a little bit, and I'm going to do 3 different strips on just one of the sides. And you can do whatever designs you want. This is the designs that I'm showing you here, but I'm going ahead and cutting these few strips. I'm laying them out. You kind of want to lay them out to see how your idea is going to look. I'm having the edges go over the sides of the glass. So you can see here I have the pieces of tissue paper longer than the glass, and that's fine. Once they dry, I'm going to cut off the edges that are hanging over, and that's another trick you can use when doing your design. So again, right here, I'm covering it with Mod Podge. And oh, see, yeah, I got some on the table. So on this part, this is a craft table I use, so I don't mind if I get glue on it. But if you are using, your dining room table and something you care about, go ahead and lay down another piece of paper under the glass as you work on it. So you see, I finished this other one. I'm checking out how this starburst one is looking. It's looking good, and then I'm gonna let the second one dry, and we're gonna get started on the third one. For this third one, I am cutting a whole bunch of squares. It's gonna be different size squares for every row, and this one takes a little more time than the others, and you're just gonna cut them, lay them out. What I did is lay them out, check them out, see if I like it, and then I'm gonna push it off to the side, put a layer of Mod Podge, and then put them back on. So right now I have no Mod Podge on there. I'm just laying it out to show you to look at the design for myself, see if I like it, see if I want to alter it in any way. And then I will push it off to the side and put that Mod Podge on and put it back on. You can see here that I think I didn't want these bottom squares. It was covering up too much of the glass. As you see, we skipped ahead a little bit here, and I did put a layer of the Mod Podge on, put on the squares, put another layer on, and I'm letting it dry on the top there. And this last one, I'm cutting all the same size, about the same size, strips of tissue paper, all longer than the glass. I'm gonna make a crisscross design, and you can see I'm putting on a layer of Mod Podge here and just kind of placing them really sporadically and crossing each other. And again, once this dries, I will go ahead and cut off the edges that are hanging off of the glass. But for the sake of designing and ease, I leave them longer, and I go ahead and crisscross them, and then at the end I will cut off the edges. So right here, I'm cutting off the edges of the extras, and we'll just throw those away. And I'll do the other side. And then I'm making another layer across the whole thing. My Mod Podge I let get a tiny bit thicker, and then I did a whole layer across the whole thing, and it gives your glass a little bit of a texture look. It looks a little bit wavy. It's not so clear. So that was a technique I used on these glasses. So I'm doing a whole nother layer across all the glass. Next, here we're going to lay out the frames. You're going to want to put the back sides up, and we're going to start assembling our lantern. This is the time, if you do have a mini screwdriver, to unscrew all those little screws that hold in the black tabs. I kind of wish I did that here. I didn't. So go ahead and unscrew those. Then you're going to place just a few dots of hot glue inside that rim where it holds the glass. So just place a few dots of glue inside. It doesn't have to be a huge amount because you don't want it to overflow onto the front side. So I'm just putting a few dots just to hold the glass in place, and I'm placing the glass as I want it in each frame. And then I'm going back over with a few more dots on top of the glass where the glass meets the frame. So I'm doing a few more dots. It doesn't have to be, again, a whole string of glue. It doesn't have to be a whole line of glue. It just has to be a few more dots to let it stick. So right here, I then put like 3 more dots on top of this frame that's sitting on the table, just to secure it, just to hold it. So then I add the other frame on top of that one, and then as you can see right now, I'm adding a whole nother good amount of glue right in the inside there, and that's what's really going to hold it. These few dots that you put in place are just to get them holding the frame until you can do the finishing part, which is putting a lot more glue inside of the frame. And that's where the 2 frames meet. That's where you're going to put a lot more of the glue. Where the seam of where the 2 frames meet, you're going to put a lot more glue, and that's what will hold it. For this last part, to get the last frame on top, you're just going to put a few dots real quick right on top of each side. So maybe 3 dots on each side. Go ahead and push down the last frame, lining it up, make sure that it all lines up great, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to reach inside with the glue gun and go ahead and finish up those seams by putting a lot more glue where the 2 frames meet. And you won't be able to see the glue, so put as much as you like.
And that's it, guys. We're finished. You have just completed your own DIY beautiful stained glass lantern. I hope you're so happy with the designs you chose. You can go ahead and put it on a bookshelf, on your table, turn on the battery operated tea light, stick it in here. You can't see it in here, it's quite bright, but when it's in a darker area, it glows. It's so beautiful, and I hope you're just proud of yourself. Good job on finishing this. If you want to see more, go to socialcrafts.com. We have more boxes available there. Get a few for your friends, do some wine and crafts, and we have some other crafts coming up soon, and stay tuned. If you like us, go ahead and thumbs up. You can also subscribe to our channel here. Go ahead and do that. And stay tuned. Thanks for following us. We'll see you next time.